Welcome back to Dreamtime Adventures. Excitement was in the air as the Burg prepared for its annual friendship games. Colorful banners hung from every lamppost, and the town square had been transformed into a playfield with ribbons marking race courses and game stations. Charlie and his Blue Dragon buddy were helping set up the three-legged race finish line, while Josephine and her majestic unicorn Pinky arranged prize ribbons on a display board. "This is going to be the best friendship games ever," Charlie declared, tying another balloon to the finish post. "Remember last year when Dr. Zoop tried to make all the race lanes extra slippery?" Josephine giggled. "Everyone ended up sliding around like they were on ice." "I heard he's actually participating this year instead of causing trouble," Charlie said. "Mayor Marie personally invited him, Rusty, and Razzle to join the games." Up on Creaky Hill, Dr. Zoop was indeed planning something very different this year. After being welcomed so warmly at the Valentine's Day celebration and helping create the Winter's Farewell Festival, he had begun to feel like a real part of the Burg community. "This year, I'm going to give everyone a surprise they'll actually enjoy," he announced to Rusty and Razzle, who were watching curiously as he tinkered with a large contraption that looked like a cross between a flower bed and a cannon. "That would be a nice change," Rusty commented, his wheels squeaking as he rolled closer to inspect the invention. "What is it?" Razzle asked, her shiny metal reflecting the colorful tubes and buttons of the machine. "I call it the Rainbow Rocket Launcher," Dr. Zoop declared proudly. "It will create the most spectacular fireworks display for the closing ceremony. Look, I'll show you a small test." He pressed a button, and a tiny rocket shot into the air above his laboratory, exploding into a beautiful pattern of rainbow colors that shimmered and danced before gently fading away. "It's beautiful, Doctor," Razzle clapped her metal hands together. "And it doesn't appear to be causing any destruction," Rusty observed with pleasant surprise. "Not everything I make is supposed to cause chaos, you know," Dr. Zoop huffed, though he couldn't help smiling. "Now help me load it onto the cart, and don't forget our matching team shirts for the games." The morning of the Friendship Games arrived with perfect sunshine and a gentle breeze. The entire town gathered in the square, where Mayor Marie stood on a small platform to welcome everyone. "The Friendship Games are about having fun together and building community," she announced. "It doesn't matter who wins or loses. What matters is the joy of playing together." The crowd cheered, and then gasped in surprise as Dr. Zoop arrived with Rusty and Razzle. All three were wearing bright yellow t-shirts with Team Creaky Hill written across the front, and Dr. Zoop was pulling a cart with his rainbow rocket launcher, carefully covered by a colorful tarp. "Don't worry, everyone," he called out, seeing their nervous looks. "This is just for the closing ceremony, a special fireworks display to celebrate friendship." Mayor Marie smiled warmly. "Thank you, Dr. Zoop. We look forward to it. Now let the games begin." What followed was a morning of laughter and friendly competition. There were egg and spoon races, where participants had to balance an egg while walking a tricky path. There were wheelbarrow races where one person held another's legs while they walked on their hands. There was even a game where blindfolded teammates had to guide each other through an obstacle course using only verbal directions. Dr. Zoop, Rusty, and Razzle participated enthusiastically in every event. They didn't win any, but they played fair and had fun, which made everyone cheer for them anyway. During the lunch break, while everyone was enjoying picnic foods, Dr. Zoop snuck away to check on his rainbow rocket launcher. "Just one more special ingredient," he muttered, adding a sprinkle of shimmering powder to the mixture. "This will make the colors extra vibrant." But as he closed the chamber, something went wrong. The machine began to rumble and shake. "That's not supposed to happen," Dr. Zoop said worriedly, pressing buttons to try to stabilize it. Suddenly, whoosh! The launcher activated on its own. Rainbow rockets began shooting out in all directions. But instead of creating beautiful light displays in the sky, they exploded into colorful foam that grew and expanded wherever it landed. "Oh dear!" Dr. Zoop cried, watching as globs of sticky rainbow foam began covering the game stations and trapping some of the picnickers. "Not again!" Charlie and Josephine heard the commotion and rushed to see what was happening. "The foam is spreading everywhere," Charlie exclaimed, watching as a blue glob trapped a wheelbarrow and began expanding around it. Buddy tried using his gentle dragon breath to melt the foam, but to everyone's horror, the heat only made it grow faster. "Stop, buddy," Josephine called out. "Heat makes it worse." Dr. Zoop ran over, his wild hair even wilder with worry. "I'm so sorry. I only wanted to make pretty fireworks. The extra color enhancer must have reacted with the sparkle solution. We need to figure out how to stop this foam before it covers the whole town," Charlie said, already thinking of solutions. Josephine knelt down to examine a patch of foam that had landed near a flower bed. "Look, where it touched the soil, it's shrinking a little." Charlie noticed something too. "And over there, where the water barrel spilled, the foam isn't growing as quickly." Working together, Charlie, Josephine, and Dr. Zoop began to develop a plan. They needed to create a solution that could neutralize the expanding foam. "Rusty, Razzle," Dr. Zoop called to his robot helpers. "I need you to collect mineral-rich soil from the creek bed, the kind with the sparkly bits in it." "Buddy," Charlie instructed his dragon, "we need buckets of cool water from the mountain stream. The foam seems to react differently to different temperatures." "Pinky and I will gather nectar from the rainbow flowers in my garden," Josephine added. "I think their natural properties might counteract the artificial colors in the foam." While they gathered ingredients, Mayor Marie and the townspeople worked to contain the foam as best they could, using tables and boards to create barriers. Back at the town square, Charlie and Dr. Zoop mixed their ingredients in large barrels. "If my calculations are correct," Dr. Zoop said, stirring vigorously, "this solution should neutralize the expansion properties of the foam and allow it to dissolve harmlessly." "Let's hope so," Charlie replied, filling spray bottles with their creation. They distributed the spray bottles to everyone, and soon the whole town was working together to combat the rainbow foam. Buddy and Pinky helped reach the higher foam patches that had climbed up trees and lampposts. Slowly but surely, the foam began to recede. Where the special solution touched it, the foam would fizz slightly, then shrink down and dissolve into harmless, colorful puddles that quickly evaporated in the sun. "It's working!" Josephine cheered, watching a particularly large foam mound melt away. Within an hour, all the foam was gone, and the games area was back to normal. Dr. Zoop stood before everyone, looking very apologetic. "I'm so terribly sorry," he said, his shoulders slumped. "I just wanted to contribute something beautiful to the friendship games." To his surprise, Mayor Marie smiled kindly. "And you did, Dr. Zoop, just not in the way you expected. Look how everyone worked together to solve the problem. Isn't that what the friendship games are all about?" The townspeople nodded in agreement, and soon they were all helping to clean up the last traces of the colorful puddles and restore the game stations. "We still have time for the three-legged race," Mayor Marie announced. "Everyone find a partner." Charlie turned to Josephine with a grin. "Partners?" "Always," she agreed, and they tied their legs together with the colorful ribbon. The three-legged race was always the highlight of the friendship games, as it required perfect teamwork and coordination. To everyone's amusement, Dr. Zoop and Rusty joined in, with Rusty's wheel carefully tied to Dr. Zoop's leg. "On your mark, get set, go!" Mayor Marie called out. The race was challenging, with several teams toppling over in fits of laughter. But Charlie and Josephine moved in perfect sync, their years of adventuring together giving them an advantage. Left, right, Charlie counted as they neared the finish line. Dr. Zoop and Rusty were surprisingly close behind them, with Dr. Zoop adapting his steps to match Rusty's rolling wheel. In the end, Charlie and Josephine crossed the finish line first, with Dr. Zoop and Rusty coming in a second place, much to everyone's surprise and delight. As the sun began to set, Dr. Zoop approached Mayor Marie nervously. "I've fixed the rainbow rocket launcher," he said. "I removed the problematic ingredient, and Josephine helped me add some stabilizing elements from her garden. It's perfectly safe now. Would you still like the fireworks display?" Mayor Marie considered for a moment, then nodded. "The friendship games should end with a celebration, and I believe in second chances." With everyone watching from a safe distance, Dr. Zoop activated his invention. This time, beautiful rockets soared into the twilight sky, exploding into spectacular patterns of rainbow colors that danced and twinkled before gently floating down like colorful starlight. "Ooh and ah" filled the air as everyone watched the magical display. During the fireworks, Mayor Marie presented Charlie and Josephine with their first-place ribbons for the three-legged race. But she had one more award to give. This year, she announced, we have a special Most Improved Participant Award that goes to Dr. Zoop, Rusty, and Razzle for turning a potential disaster into a beautiful celebration. Dr. Zoop couldn't believe his ears. As he accepted the special ribbon, his eyes filled with happy tears. Thank you, he whispered, for letting me be part of your friendship. As the final rockets illuminated the night sky, Charlie and Josephine sat together with Buddy and Pinky, watching the colors reflect in everyone's smiling faces. You know what? Charlie said thoughtfully. I think these really were the best friendship games ever. Because we won the three-legged race? Josephine asked. No, Charlie smiled, watching as Dr. Zoop excitedly explained his rocket technology to some curious children, with Rusty and Razzle helpfully demonstrating with their hands. Because we gained a new friend. And so ended another magical adventure in the Burg, teaching us that true friendship can bloom from the most unexpected situations. And sometimes what starts as a mistake can end as a masterpiece. Join us next time for more Dreamtime adventures, where friendship, courage, and a little bit of magic make anything possible.